Hey everybody, welcome to Camel City Chat. I'm John McPherson and I'm here with Jonathan Lee. Jonathan is the owner, president, founder of Homes by Jonathan Lee, a construction company that we're going to hear so much about. You're somebody that I respect in the industry. We've become a little bit more engaged with each other over the last year or two, and I'm always calling you, asking questions, and we have great dialogue, and I just really appreciate you doing this show. I don't want you to think it's payback for me not really helping you do anything, but you know, I know this isn't your favorite thing to do.
Well, thank you, John. I'll lie and say I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I appreciate you, and that's why I'm here.
I appreciate you more, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go. You ready? I've got
Yes, sir.
5 questions. We're going to start off with the easy ones.
Okay.
Where are you from and how long you been in Winston?
I am from Springfield, Virginia.
Springfield, Virginia.
Uh-huh.
All right, and you've been here since?
I've been here since 1991.
All right, and we'll come back to that question because I just don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
By the way, this is a rarity. We're filming this on Tuesday, and this is going to go live tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.
Okay.
All right. Normally, there's a week in between, and we'll do a promo. So I don't even get to promo you with what you know my super question.
All right.
So there's been 2 questions that I've wanted to do. One was when we did Graham Bennett, where I was like pumping gas and called him and said, "Hey, can we come interview you?" And the other's our question. All right. So then now, what is your what's your favorite place to eat around Winston?
My favorite restaurant that pops in my head would be the West End Cafe.
Great place.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it.
Let me guess. You like the curry chicken salad? No.
I don't know that I've had that.
Okay, you gotta have that.
My go-to meal there is the chicken Florentine.
Chicken Florentine?
Yeah, I remember that when they used to be in their old location. They've kept it on the menu, and it's a good sandwich.
I do like the curry chicken salad, but you just can't go wrong there. And there's not a better feeling in town when you pull up and you realize you're not going to have to wait that long.
Yeah, it's just
comfortable. There's always a wait.
Right,
but,
right. It's a good setting.
Yeah.
Nice place. Yeah, yeah.
Good. Now, you're married and you have how many kids?
I have 2. I have a daughter, Jacqueline, 26, in Raleigh. And my son, Boyce, 23, here in Winston.
Yeah, who's helping you out some here in the office?
Right. Yeah, he's in college at Forsyth Tech, studying the Architectural Technologies program, which is a lot of design and CAD, and then he helps me here part-time.
Right.
Yeah.
And your wife is an interior designer, so we'll get into some of that stuff too.
Okay.
So it's interesting to me. Every member of your family has played a role in Homes by Jonathan Lee at some point.
Including my mother-in-law.
That's the one that I was going to... Now that's the big question is,
yeah.
I think your mother-in-law is... You can... When your mother-in-law is around, you can never not have anything to do.
This is very true.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, Jonathan, go sweep up that too. You know, no, you go do this. I got this. You know, I mean, she's just an awesome lady.
You knew her well.
Yep. So, and I want to talk about your parade philosophy because I think she was, involved in that as well too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
All right, so what are your favorite things to do around town?
Well, when I'm not working, I'm very happy being at home in Louisville, working in the yard. I like the local sites here, Reynolda Village, great destination. Really enjoy there, walking the gardens, walking around, going downtown, dining. And then when we're going out of town, we're going to the beach.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Jonathan, now how many nights have you spent in the Forsyth County Jail?
No nights, thank God, but maybe an hour. Enough time for someone to haphazardly walk by and for me to say, "Get me out."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people don't know this about you, and of course our friend Jeff Smith shared this with me.
Okay.
You came to town in 1991.
Right.
To build that jail.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. I was in Washington, D.C., working for a pretty large general contractor, a company called Donahoe Construction. And in the late 80s, early 90s, they expanded in the Carolinas and landed a contract to build the Forsyth County Detention Center. So me being single, Jonathan, you're going to Winston. So they shipped me down here, and I worked on that project for 4 years, which that brought me to Winston, which was a blessing, and I met my wife and got married, and when that job was done, I said, I'm not going back to D.C., and tried to figure out what I could do to remain here, and started a home building company.
So what goes into a project as huge as that? I mean, obviously there's bigger ones, but I mean, for me, that's a huge project. So tell us about it.
Well, yeah, that's big industrial commercial project. So, I mean, big team, major subcontractors, architect, owners, reps, all that, but it's just, I mean, it's a very involved project from foundation through the end. And, it's just a different world, commercial, industrial construction versus residential. But it was quite interesting when we started. I remember we were driving piles, which is a very loud, noisy operation, driving 1,000-foot long concrete piles in the ground for the foundation. And the judge over at the courthouse was in session. And one day he sent us a work stop order and said, stop, or I will put you all in jail, because he couldn't conduct court. So we had to stop, So it was pretty interesting building downtown Winston. So, anyway.
So now you come down here, and what was your position with that?
I was a project manager.
Okay, so you at how old now?
John, you're going to make me do some math.
Yeah.
I don't know,
So
late 20s?
Mid-20s, you're project manager
Late
for the
20s,
jail.
right. Yeah. Well, second in charge.
Okay.
I did have a senior PM over me.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so your love of this started, let's say, prior to college, because you go to Virginia Tech and you get, see, there's that research coming in there. So you go to Virginia Tech and you get a degree in basically
Building
stuff,
construction.
yeah.
Yeah, that was my major. Right.
Okay.
My major was catered toward, the commercial construction industry.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we're in Winston. Yeah, I mean, did you go into D. Rose to buy wallpaper for something, or how did you meet your wife?
I met Alicia at a party.
Okay.
There was a group of guys about my age on the project that I met. One was the architect's rep, a guy that got shipped up here from Atlanta. We were about the same age. And then one of the county representatives. Anyway, we all became friends, and the county rep guy had a party, and that's where I met Alicia.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And for those that don't know it, Alicia, of course, worked and ran for a while D. Rose.
Right.
And she was in the JCs. I met her through the JCs, and I remember she was watching her niece, is it niece or nephew, while she'd be up there doing doing the books and stuff, and then
Well, she worked in the drapery workroom primarily.
Yeah.
Right. Dero's was a Winston-Salem, very established paint and mainly wallpaper store in the glory days of wallpaper.
Right.
And then they expanded and had a drapery workroom, and Alicia ran that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so you get married, and then now, were you married in '95? Not yet.
No.
Okay.
We married in '93.
Okay.
And I was still working for Donahoe on the jail.
Right.
And then, a couple years later, that ended, and I started my company.
So you come home one day and say, honey, I'm going to start a building company. How did that go over?
Well, fine. And it wasn't overnight.
Yeah, right.
I can just remember almost every weekend they'd be having open houses. These new developments would come on, and we would go tour them. And I'm just like, man, I can do this.
Right.
So I would walk houses on weekends when they weren't building, and just kind of get the lay of the land and the type of housing I thought I wanted to start. And so I just slowly went about the process of forming a company, incorporating, much like you've done, and just figuring it out, putting it together, and all on my dining room table.
Right.
No home, no office or anything like that. And so just start slowly taking the steps until I'm ready to leave, and then get the first lot, first house, and start.
Where's the first house?
The first house I built was in a community called Fairmont in Clemens.
Okay.
The Christ brothers were the developer. And I remember going to Jimmy Christ and said, would you sell me a lot? I'm a new guy on town. He said, yeah, I would. And he said, go talk to this guy to borrow money. So I did, and we just put it all together and started with the first spec house.
Right.
And I can remember my first house, my goal was to cut my teeth and not lose money. That was my goal.
Same goal. Yeah.
And you know, I persevered. I knew the guys at the dump on a first name basis, you know, hauling all my own trash and waterproofing and helping trim the house and hanging all the wallpaper, you know, just doing everything you got to do. And at the end of the day, after I paid all my bills and added up, I netted $13,000. And I thought that was fantastic.
You beat me by 1,000. No, 500. I did 12.5 on my first house. But people don't understand.
Yeah.
The goal is just, if I make $1, I've succeeded.
Right. You just want to learn and get through the process and survive.
Right.
And then it just builds on itself from there.
Well, I mean, you know, the thing about home building that has been very interesting for me as a new builder is you know, standing on the shoulders of those before us. And so who were your mentors or people that you kind of really, you know, feel like got you where you are?
I can remember back then it was Todd Eisenhower was not on his own. I believe it was Bowen and Eisenhower. You know, they were a really big player in town. Carrier Vent. Gosh, who was back then? I'm trying to remember. Lang Wilcox was really prospering back then. And
would Bill Adams be around then?
Yeah, absolutely. Bill Adams, Jolly and Son, you know, Frank and his father, and I mean there was a number of builders.
Oh gosh, Hank Myers was someone that built our house, but I don't know how many he built.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, definitely Hank Myers, and yeah, I mean those were the builders during the day. And one of the first things I did was join. Even before I started, join the Home Builders Association.
That was going to be one of my questions. That's awesome. Okay.
And that was a great move. And I can just remember going to the meetings and just in awe at some of these people there. You know, it was just really influential and just made an impression.
And what people don't understand is much like a real estate agent is a license that I have gotten from the state. A realtor is a trade organization that I join because of its code of ethics and other things like the MLS. For home builders, you get your license from the state, but you've taken it to the next level and said, hey, I want to be associated with an organization that has standards, et cetera, and things like that through the Home Builders Association. So, yeah, I mean, you know, you can look at the sheet right there. Home builders, it's basically why? Why did you join the home builders?
Well, I did it because everybody told me to.
You had to, right?
Right, and then once I did it, it just opened up my eyes. I mean, there's so many resources there. Because, you know, as a member, you join your local, which here is the HBA Winston-Salem, which makes you a member of the state association, which makes you a member of the national association. And at the time, Harry Weiler was our leader of the Winston-Salem HBA, and Harry really liked the national association. So we, you know, got very involved with them, and just great opportunities to learn, to network with your peers, and I mean it just helped my business so much. And then the other thing was that first house, I entered it into the Parade of Homes. Right. And you know, that was kind of an honor. Right. And that was a great, and it kind of puts you on the map. I mean, you're starting out, you're kind of a no one. These were busy times in 1995. I had trouble getting subs. You know, they were all booked with builders. They didn't really want to pay attention to some fledgling young guy. And but you know, got through it, and the Parade of Homes was successful, won an award, and again, I felt like it just kind of put us out there.
And you know, I want to get into what it takes to be a good builder and some of the the qualities that I think you excel at. But before we do that, I think Staples going to tell us it's time to take a quick break. So let's take a break, and then we'll come back with more Camel City Chat.
We'll do it.
Welcome back to Camel City Chat. I'm here with Jonathan Lee, the proprietor of Homes by Jonathan Lee. And, you know, we talked about the Home Builders Association. I wanted to get into that. You're coming off serving as its president.
Well,
or no, you're in it now.
Right, right. This year I am the president.
Is this your first year? First time serving?
No, I did it, believe it or not, 20 years ago.
Okay, because when I was doing that, I'm like, he's president now, so why does it say that he was president? So then I'm thinking, you know what, he's done it before.
Yeah, I'm on the recycle program.
Yeah. And
but honored to do so. I mean, I feel like I'm giving back to my association that I wholeheartedly believe in and is good for our industry. So.
Well, that tees up the next question. Why give back? Tell me about Voc Ed and how important that is.
Well, Voc Ed is very important. When you say Voc Ed, I think of teaching our younger generation how to do carpentry, electrical, heating and air conditioning work, laying brick, roofing, you know, all the components of building a house that we are struggling in this country. We are struggling here in Forsyth County. We don't have young people growing up in the trades, and it's a big problem. We just don't have enough people capable of doing the work for the work that's out there. I mean, you ask anybody that owns a home, and they're going to tell you what a struggle is to find someone to fix anything. Mm-hmm. To me, it's an honorable profession to learn a trade, and if you're hardworking and honest, you can make a very good living at it.
You think about this. If you skipped college and went straight from high school and became like a plumber and electrician, mm-hmm. you could print money.
Pretty much.
I mean, it's crazy.
Right. I'm not going to say, I mean, not talk anybody out of going to college.
Right.
Or if you could couple that
with a degree.
Degree with the trade experience. I mean, yeah, you can write your ticket.
Well, you know, and I say, the only reason why I say that is because, you know, there's mm-hmm. such a debate about the cost of school. I mean, I want my daughter to go do whatever mm-hmm. she wants to do, but not going to college or getting into a business early, sometimes that may not be the wrong thing. Like we were instilled in, you have to go to college.
Right.
But, you know, you look at somebody that, mm-hmm. And I don't know whether or not he went to college, but I mean, like Paul Freer. Holy mm-hmm. cow.
Right.
I mean, he just started out waterproofing and doing some, you know, some plumbing, and all of a sudden, yeah,
hugely successful businessman, entrepreneur.
Right.
I mean, you know, the mentality. I think every teacher, every counselor, every principal, every parent, you're going to college,
right?
And that's great. But we all know that not everyone is going to go to college. So all I ask is that make them aware of other professions, other opportunities. When I grew up in high school in Springfield, Virginia, I mean, we had a career center at my high school. I remember they had carpentry, they had shop, they had cosmetology, and I mean, it was valuable.
Right.
I mean, I really believe that our education system should invest more than it does in the trades. Mm-hmm. So,
in the 7th grade at Southwest, which is now an elementary school, back there I built a cutting board.
Still
got the most joy. No, I don't. But got the most joy in, and about 3 months ago, I built a cutting board again. And I remembered what I was doing. Of course, Stabler's dad makes them too. So, you know, we're all making cutting boards in the driveways and the back porch and stuff. And there's so much satisfaction from that.
There is,
And the voc ed at Forsyth Tech is huge. And as home builders, I mean, we support it, but you're also involved. You have been involved over the years in helping out with that.
Yeah.
So what do you... You know, what do you like about what they're doing at Forsyth Tech?
Just that they're teaching the students. Right. I mean, you can go in the classroom and you can just tell the students just what you said, the satisfaction of working with your hands, creating something, being part of creating or building something. Mm. You know, for a while there, they were building the, you know, we don't have enough classroom space. So those what's the word for manufactured houses that you see sitting off the side, they would build them.
Right.
I mean, what a great way to have them learn, get hands-on experience, and provide something that the county needed. So programs like that were just amazing.
I remember at old home and garden shows, didn't they used to build brick walls and stuff, or have a competition?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So that's cool stuff.
Yeah, we need to get back to that. We need more of that. So
talk to the HBA president.
We will work on that, John.
Yeah. Please talk to him. So another thing that I know you're involved in, and I think, did I understand you're getting back involved in this, is Habitat? Are you guys building the house?
Not currently.
Not currently?
No, but we have done that in the past.
Right, you've done it in the past, but...
In the days of Jimmy Johnson, who's another one, famous when I first came in, but Jimmy Johnson was like our liaison builder.
Right.
Just believed so much in Habitat, and we had the Labor Day Labor of Love.
Right.
We used to do, and so every Labor Day we would forgo our vacation and go work on the houses. But then we did the Builder Blitz.
Was that 5 houses at one time?
It was 5 houses that we built in a week.
Okay.
You know, and 5 separate builders sponsored each house, and we sponsored a house. And so they had the foundation in, then we had to have everything lined up, all our subs, cabinets, everything. And then in 1 week, we built and finished the house.
Right.
It was quite a feat, let me tell you.
And what was cool about that is the one entity that you really relied on the most sent an inspector over to make sure that there was someone there all the time. So whenever your electrical went off, yeah. I know what I'm thinking about on the building the house together. Yeah. There's a group of you guys building the parade house together.
Right. Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking
different
of this
subject.
year.
Right.
But so finish up on Habitat, sorry.
Well, yeah, just like you said, I mean, it was a wonderful coordinated effort with Habitat, the builders, and Forsyth County.
Right.
I mean, normally you call in for inspection one day and hope you get it the next day or within, 48 hours. But there, we needed an inspection in minutes.
Right.
Or else we weren't going to complete that house, and they came through for us. It was pretty incredible.
That was so cool that they did that. Dan Dockery was involved and all that. What a great guy.
And the inspectors, it was fantastic.
Yeah, so you've been involved with Habitat, and then another way that you can give back is through the Home Builders Association, raising money for the home builders. There's different events that they have, like the Spring Parade, Fall Parade, Home and Garden Show, and different things like that. This year's something interesting, and has this been done before like this?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
No, this is first time. For whatever reason, the market that we're currently in, I mean, builders don't have any inventory. It's the busiest I've ever seen it in my 27 years in business. I've never seen a market like this. So last year I felt like the Parade of Homes was a little bit weak on entries. We did not have a builder. Let me back up. In the past, a builder has stepped up and built a house that was called the Home Builder Association house, and the profits went to the HBA.
And 6 to 10 people would apply for this honor.
Correct. Yeah.
Because you get all these discounts coming in.
Right.
The real estate agent usually would say, hey, I won't take my side or whatever to help out to get the publicity or some sort of discount. Everybody's giving discounts. And then when the house sells for $500,000, the builder has not put any of their time into it, et cetera, and stuff like that. So there's an opportunity to make some money for the Home Builders Association. This is one of, 2 or 3 projects that keep the Home Builders Association afloat besides dues.
Correct. Right.
And so you're saying now it was lean, obviously because of COVID, but I mean, and plus, why do I want to do this, Jonathan? I got 3 houses going over here. I don't need to take away from my livelihood.
Well, basically, no one stepped forward this year to do it.
Right.
So myself, Michael Lenscore, Aaron Lang, Josh Ritchie, and who am I missing? Lee Riddle.
Okay.
And Chris Thompson. That's the builder committee.
Round table.
That's the builder committee that is going to build the house.
Right.
So we are going to build it as a committee, and graciously, the developer Brookbrae Farm, which is Quality Oil, someone you know well.
I know that guy. You can call him. Just go to the pump.
They have agreed to provide us a lot.
Okay.
We have a house plan, and we're getting ready to get started. And I'm very excited about it. It's going to be an amazing house. It's going to be an amazing opportunity for the HBA, for the community. It's going to be a great house, great marketing event. All our associates, great opportunity for them to provide their services and have fun.
But selfishly, it's a great opportunity for the 5, 6 of you all to see how you do business. And you're always taking away a nugget no matter who it is.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean...
How'd you get so smart?
Well, because I listen to you occasionally. So, for instance, you and I were talking one day and you're like, well, we'll do this, John. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, so then I meet with the accountant and I've got my stuff set up and all that. I got all my certificates of insurance. I'm working on 1099s now. Okay. But my checks are coming, so I'm going to be putting on there, as we paid you promptly, please provide us with your certificate of insurance and 1099 to this address or something like that to try and put on the checks because one of the hardest things we do is getting the subcontract. Subcontractors come do the work. Subcontractors want their check, but hey, can you give me the 2 sheets of information that my insurance and my accountant want? And that's hard to get sometimes. But so that meeting with why did you do that? Oh, well, I do this because of this. That brings you a nugget. And I think the great thing is yes, you've been building for 27 years and you build beautiful houses, But with any person, I don't care who they are, it's neat to have something exciting happen to get you back into doing something.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, the old adage, I mean, I learn something every day. And, you know, I don't want to get stuck in our way of doing things. I mean, Alicia and I are always wanting to go to Charlotte, to Atlanta, to coastal cities, you know, see what they're doing, bring back fresh ideas.
You know, I follow Scott Eisenhower. I guess he's on Instagram or Facebook. No, we're Facebook friends because when he moved away years to go west, Wendy and I helped him sell his house. And so we're Facebook friends. And some of the stuff they're building down at the coast is just like, I could move in right now.
Oh, it's amazing.
They don't even have to finish it. I mean, I'd hammer some nails myself. But it is, you're right. It's so, is that, and I really want to get into this with you, and that's what I want to talk about in the next segment is, so I'll prep you for it, and that is selecting a builder, what are qualities I look for in a builder, and what makes you so awesome at what you do.
Okay.
You good?
Sounds good. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. We'll be right back with more Camel City Chat. Welcome back to Camel City Chat. I'm John McPherson, and I'm here with Jonathan Lee, Homes by Jonathan Lee, and we've been talking about everything all over the board. Let's dial it down to a couple things here because I think people really need to understand this. I have been fortunate in that I had a buyer choose to work with you, and you know, the experience of getting to see you work is pretty interesting. So. The wife and I have been thinking about moving, and I'm interviewing builders. What do I look for, ask for, etc. When I select a builder? What are some things you like?
Okay. Well, first I'd like to say, I mean, to me, we live and work in a very unique town. Winston-Salem is primarily a group of mostly custom, low-volume builders. We don't have a lot of production builders in this town. So to me, that means you're going to get more hands-on experience, a more custom-built home, and probably a better built home with more quality and details. To answer your question, interview builders, ask around, go on the website, go to open houses, drive communities, and I would say make a short list of 2 or 3 builders that you think you like.
Yeah, I was on your website. You have your real estate agents on your website.
Okay.
Who does that?
What do you mean, who does that?
I was blown away that you had Peggy and Dee on your website.
Well, I mean, they're part of my team. A lot of the new construction developments are going to be marketed by a real estate company, so I mean, they're kind of our partners. So that's just, they're part of our team.
That's really cool.
Depending on the community that we build in. Yeah.
And you've been working with Peggy for how long now? You don't want to
26 years. Yeah, a long time. Yeah,
yeah. She's awesome.
She is.
And so is Dee.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But now with, I think there's there's probably 2 or 3 really cardinal things to look for when you interview a builder. But so I come in here and you know, first of all, you have an office. This isn't in your basement. This isn't. You know, I'll meet you on the job site or things like that. That's right. So when I come in, to interview you, what are questions I need to ask?
Well, I'm going to turn it around a little bit. First, I want to understand why. You know, someone comes in here. Yeah, it's an interview. It's a meet and greet. Let's get to know each other. And the first thing I ask is, why are you doing this? I want to understand you and why you're doing this and who's involved and where you're at in the process and what your pains are, you know, just trying to understand the picture. And then I'm just going to listen to them and ask away. And mostly people want to know what's your system, how do you do this, et cetera, et cetera. So I just try to explain what our system is. But I think we're looking for a match both ways. I mean, building a house is a long-term relationship.
It's a marriage.
From the time you meet to the time you move in, it could be a year, it could be 2 years. Right. Depending on, you know, where you're at in the process. Do you have a place to build? Do you have a floor plan? You know, a lot of times people know where they want to build, but they don't have a floor plan. So can we show you some of our floor plans? Do we need to start from scratch? Do you have a plan on the internet? You know, rarely, I think I've only had one customer in 27 years that just brought me the plan that they ordered on an online plan service and we built it. It's always, this is a starting point, but we need to modify this master bedroom. We like this kitchen. We like this exterior. So we're custom designing and custom building and working with our consultants, our draftsman or architect, depending on the need, the landscape architect to help us site the house. To get this project designed, we want to talk about budget, make sure we're in line with our niche and our price point that we build in is in line with you. And I think just important to ask questions, understand each other, understand the process, but mostly make sure you like each other and are going to be a fit for this team project.
Well, and you know, I'm trying to think, you don't ask a date. You kiss on the first date is kind of almost like walking in and going, what's your price per square foot? It's definitely a conversation ender when people ask that.
Right.
You're not the least expensive in town. I don't know if you want to claim to be the most expensive in town because I don't think you are.
No.
But you build a quality house and you expect for someone to pay for it.
Right. If someone is shopping merely on price, then that typically is not my customer. If someone wants a well-built house with attention to detail and listening and someone that's going to be there throughout the process and back it, that's my customer. Usually someone that recognizes the difference. I like to tell people, I'm going to build your home as if it were mine, meaning structurally from the foundation, the way it's framed, roofed, doors, windows, insulation. I don't care what the price is, that's going to be the same because that's how, as smart as I am today with today's technology, today's materials, energy efficiency, we're committed, we build all our homes to Energy Star standards. That's what I want to deliver. And if you're not on board with that, I'm not your builder. I mean, we're building beyond code, and I could build my houses cheaper, but I don't think they would be the quality.
I don't think you'd have the reputation either, though.
I appreciate that.
And you do have a good reputation. I always kid with you about what that person said to me that one time. I won't repeat it, but but when there was a downturn, I'll just say that you were still building. Let's put it that way. It's
well, the downturn was interesting. We've never been huge speculative builders and had a lot of land.
Right.
But people that were at that time and sitting on land, I mean, it just got cut in half overnight.
Yep.
And they got hurt, and people with a lot of inventory. So fortunately, we didn't, everything was sold, and so we finished and new jobs weren't coming in, and it was a rough patch for a while, but we came through it. I like to tell people, now we're so busy, having lived through that, we're like 80s recession babies. Right. You've heard of depression babies.
Right.
They're so tight with their money. Now, we don't want to say no to anybody because you don't know what's around the next corner.
Correct.
And sometimes that'll get you in trouble because over-committing can be stressful for everyone.
Well, what is it? The guy that owns Sony, he was offered, someone wanted him to make 10,000 radios in the very beginning, and he goes, no, that'll bankrupt me. How could 10,000 radios bankrupt him? And they didn't do it, obviously, because it would have bankrupted him.
Right.
And so sometimes it is hard to say no.
Right.
You have obviously a wait list, and but each project moves along according to how, if I don't have a lot,
right.
I'm suddenly moved further towards the front when I do have a lot, and different things like that. And you're
right.
How many touches is it from the initial contact to where you? Because I know you are a numbers person too. I mean, is it, if I meet with you, how many times is it usually going to go to a contract then?
Well, again, it just depends on each project. But
right.
There's the initial meeting, and then when you decide to go with us, there's going to be several meetings with to get to the point where we're ready to start drawing plans.
Right.
And then we kind of go away, and now with computers and email, the draftsman architect, they draw the plans, like the first floor, they email it out. I mean, you can do so much looking at emails and attachments. And we're always working to what we call estimation set.
Right.
The house plans are drawn enough and the site plan is drawn enough that now I can estimate the cost and tell you what it to the penny is going to cost. So we get to that point, then we have a meeting and we go over, okay, now we're going to price the house. Let's go through it and talk about where's hardwood, where's carpet, where's tile. I'm going to have my clients go pick out cabinetry, plumbing fixtures, appliances, and countertops, because those things vary a lot in price, and I want to price what you're wanting out of the gate.
Right.
But we're constantly talking about the budget and trying to steer them and not stray, because it's no fun to go through this and then come in your $200,000 over budget. But that, to me, is the hardest part of my job, listening to the budget and trying to bring it in there, because we're always inventing these one-of-a-kind plans that we hadn't built before. So we have an idea of the cost, but we don't know exactly what it's going to cost until we design it and price it out. So that is probably the hardest part.
And you do that. I mean, you're sitting at the computer doing that. People may think, oh, well, Jonathan's not doing that anymore. I mean, you still...
Well, I have a team.
Right.
We have an estimator and staff, but right, we are measuring how much concrete's in the footing and rebar and how many brick and block and shingles, and doing detailed estimates to figure this out. And it's really challenging right now because prices are so volatile.
That was my next question. So, I mean, I started a house and the 2x4 was like $2 or $3, and my buddy starts a house about 3 weeks later and the 2x4 is $8.
Yeah, now it's 12.
Yeah. So, how much has that changed the industry?
I mean, it's impacting us all tremendously.
Right.
NHB and everything I see, costs are up about 30% from pre-COVID.
Right.
So what it means is pricing is not constant. So every time we price a house, we have to get the current cost of lumber, HVAC, all these parts that just keep going up. And it's also forced us, when you build a custom house, you cannot pick out everything in the beginning. So we establish what we call our allowances, for example, light fixtures. If you have to pick out everything before you start on a custom house, you'll never get started.
Right.
So we'll establish a budget for that, and that becomes part of the deal. But it's based on what we talked about and the price point, everything that's in fitting with the build is.
And we have a form for North Carolina that has, the realtors, it has like, what's your price per carpet per square yard, hardwood per square yard, and stuff like that.
Oh, and where I was going with that is, we used to maybe on a build have 10 allowances, and now we have 20 allowances, including lumber, because, when I sign a contract, that's based on what the lumber costs today. 45 or 60 days from now, when we go to buy the lumber, it could be different, depending on what the market's doing. So, now it comes down to communication.
That is excellent allowance for lumber. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, it's like, well, gosh, so, and then I get a credit then if it was,
if it goes down, absolutely you get a credit.
Yeah.
If it goes up,
we're going to talk about it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the difficult part.
So, one of the things that has always impressed me about you, and I've talked to you about this before, is the parade. The parade is Jonathan Lee's Super Bowl. Okay. You feel that is your best marketing piece that you can do each year.
Absolutely.
And you take it so seriously that literally, as soon as you walk out of the locker room after last year's parade, you've got family members, like you were talking about how your mother-in-law had helped, you're already identifying the next lot for a year from now and stuff. So to walk us through a little bit of that, and then we'll take a break and finish up.
Okay. Well, you mentioned Betsy, who unfortunately is not with us anymore, Alicia's mother, but she loved this business. And very early on, she would push Alicia and I. I mean, she was one of those people, when something's on her mind, she's living it and breathing it and sleeping it constantly.
We all get a smile when we talk about it.
Just like, please turn it off.
Yeah.
And so she just taught us, plan early. And I mean, I've never had seen such meticulous detail. I mean, even when it came time to plant the flower, she was taking samples of petals up to the brick to make sure everything was going to coordinate. I mean, it was extreme, but it just taught me so much. Yeah. I mean, sweat the details, and it's going to just show and shine. But yeah, it's just planning and pulling out all the stops and trying to bring in new ideas and innovative things, and just make something really exciting and just show off your creativity, your work, design, function, and put it out there. But with the Parade of Homes is absolutely our best marketing events, money spent, bar none. May not be a sale the next day, the next month. It could be, but I mean, so many times I will meet people, oh yeah, we were in your parade house 5 years ago, or they'll call me up, yeah, we've been coming to your parade for 25 years and we're ready now. So, it just puts you out in the community, and it's just a super event.
Well, and you know, you would say that you're not outgoing, but I think that for those of us that that know you, you're game time. So when you have to be Jonathan Lee out there, you're fine. But you know, it's not your favorite thing to do, and I mean, at the end of the day, you're probably wanting to take a nap after the Triad Home and Garden show because you've had to talk to people. But you know, very personable, and I hate that you don't. You know, I mean, I'm shy is basically what you're. We both talk a lot.
I enjoy the parade of homes.
Yeah.
I mean, it is exhausting, but no, I do enjoy it because I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to watch people. I mean, when you've done it long enough, you can see here come the people with their notepads and their cameras, there's measuring tapes, and pretty quickly you can figure out, they've got a builder, they're looking for ideas, or they're remodeling, and, it's just sales 101. You just ask a few questions, and, I mean, you can't talk to everyone, so you have to kind of figure out who you should spend your time with, and you just do the best you can.
Yeah,
so.
But I mean, it is amazing. I encourage anybody to, when you have a parade house, to go by and see Jonathan, because it's artwork, and I mean,
I appreciate that.
Well, it's the truth. I mean, your wife is doing one thing, as you said, before Betsy passed away, she's doing another thing. It's like, I mean, she would be, putting the top on the bottle and making sure that it was the right level, and I mean,
that's right. Yeah.
But so now, are you building a parade house as well besides the other?
We are. In addition to the HBA group builder house in Brookberry Farm, we're building
HBA group home.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. There's a community called Chatham off of Robin Hood Road that Matt and Jim McChesney have developed. Beautiful community, and one of our customers has allowed us to enter the house in the parade of homes.
Okay.
So yeah, come see us this fall. It's going to be a really cool house.
Cool. Let's take a break and then we'll finish up, okay?
All right,
we'll be right back with more Camel City Chat. Welcome back to Camel City Chat. Again, I'm here with Jonathan Lee with Homes by Jonathan Lee, and as we get close to the end of the show, I want to ask you a couple questions that I always like to try and ask guests, and you're very unique in this because you were downtown during this time period as downtown started to transition from where you wouldn't go after 3:30 on a weekday to now you're out until 3:30 a.m. on a weekday, or other people are. But so what do you think about where Winston-Salem's gone, and what do you want to see downtown?
Well, I mean, it's just amazing. When I moved here in 1991, the old expression at 5 o'clock they rolled up the carpets and everybody went home was so true. I mean, there was nothing downtown. And look at it now. I'm just so proud and happy this town. I think people come to visit, and it's a vibrant, exciting downtown. Very, very pleased with it. Let's just keep on going.
Yeah, Bailey Park 2's coming. I guess they're going to go across the road now. I mean, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, we've got a lot of apartments.
Yeah.
But that's good. Let's get people living downtown and make it even more vibrant. And
it is amazing. You see them going up, but they don't build them because no one's going to live in them.
That's right.
And so it is incredible. And so then that leads me to one more question, and then we'll ask the question that everyone hates to answer. And so that question is tell me about the housing market. I mean, you've been in this for 27 years now, so what's...
the housing market is strong. When I talk to realtors like you, John, I talk to other builders, I mean, we've really never seen anything like it. I get a call every day from someone that wants to build a house, and I just, we just build 4 or 5 houses at a time, finish 8, 10 houses a year. I mean, we can't do all that.
Right.
So like you said, we just have to take them as they come, who's ready, who's the best fit, but it's nothing I've ever seen. The realtors I talk to, my daughter's a realtor in Raleigh, and I mean, I heard you talking to your buyers this morning. I mean, if you want to get a good house, you better be well prepared to ask way above asking price and huge due diligence. I mean, it's just a very unique market, and some would say, they're worried about it. Is this sustainable? I think we are going to be in the same market for a while. I don't think it can last forever. So we'll see what happens. But there's a lot of folks moving to Winston-Salem. Winston-Salem is a very desirable place. I see a lot of my buyers following their children here that take jobs at Wake Forest or Truist or wherever. They're retired and they like the lifestyle here, and you know, we're building for people like that right now, and so I see a lot of people interested in living in Winston-Salem.
Bring up an interesting point. We were on the porch last night. We had called one of our neighbors and said, "Hey, what are you doing? Come on over. Catherine's made food, and you guys want to come over?" And they're like, "Oh, sure. My wife is a good cook. That's probably my favorite restaurant. I learned that from Jim Balcom, the realtor. He's like, "What's your favorite restaurant?" My wife's.
Okay, can you re-ask that question?
Yeah, no. I know your wife's a good cook. Yeah, and you like to grill too, so don't be,
Absolutely,
yeah.
yeah.
But when you said that, my favorite place is in the backyard or whatever, I'm like, yeah, yeah. So they asked me a question, and it was kind of an interesting. It's like, what's the draw for Winston-Salem? And I'm like, what do you mean? He says, well, like younger people, what's the draw? And I'm like, well, just because it's not here, you got the Honda stuff, you got you've got the Toyota plant, you got all that stuff that's bringing people to the area, plus all the other jobs. And as we continue to talk about it, I think he thought that I was just defending Winston. I'm like, no, I understand what you're saying, but there are a lot of good things. And of course, they made the comment, it's a great place to raise a family and things like that. But I think it's a great place to come, and you get that big city feel. If you need bigger, you go to Raleigh, you go to Charlotte or whatever, but
you don't have the traffic.
You don't have the traffic, yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, your commute's not too bad.
No, it's pretty easy. But I mean, it just has a small town atmosphere, which I like. I mean, every time you go to the grocery store, I mean, forget about getting in and out of Fresh Market, right? And it's just kind of nice.
Well, and we had friends visit us from Canada 5 years ago, and it was like, took them to Lowe's and was like, what is this? What do you mean? Grab a beer.
Right. Yeah. Kind of cool.
What do you mean? Yeah, I'm like, Canada? You can't have a beer and you guys make the beer? So,
but I mean, even the builder community, I feel like it's unique. I mean, we all compete against each other, but it's kind of a friendly competition. I think for the most part, we don't step on each other's toes. And just,
you have like two builders that I would say that you really compete with. Okay. And I've worked with you as people have, decided on who they were going to choose. And they're different personalities, is what I will say.
Well, that gets back to what I said.
So you really don't compete against each other.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, everybody has different personalities, the builder and the client. That's why I say talk to a few, and I mean, make sure they can build a house and do a good job, but go who you're comfortable with, who you get along with. Life is short. Building should be a fun, enjoyable experience. How many times are you going to build a house in your lifetime? So that's my goal. It's all to have fun at the end of the day. Hopefully, we want to exceed your expectation and be friends for life. So.
Yeah, and I encourage people to go to your website. We'll put that up there of how to get in touch with you.
Thank you.
I got one more question for you,
okay.
And that is the zinger. What do you want to be remembered for? And I'm not saying you may retire in 10 years or whatever.
Right.
I mean,
3 years.
No, you're
we'll
not.
See. We'll
no,
see.
You're not. Well, there's too much work. You got to. What'd your family, your parents tell you? Make hay while the sun's shining.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to be remembered for?
Well, I think obviously as a home builder, I want to be remembered for building fine homes,
right?
And giving back to my industry and supportive of the community. The thing that flatters me the most, I can see a house that we built 20 years ago, and the agent will still put in there, built by Homes by Jonathan Lee. That
Creative Homes, Platinum winner, Gold winner, whatever.
Or just recognize that it was built by us, and I like to think that brings more interest or value, or they wouldn't be putting it in there. So that's kind of a badge of honor. So there you go.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I cannot thank you enough for doing this. Yeah. I like it because when we started this show, this is something I enjoy doing because I get to meet people, but also then I get to learn more about people. We have a mutual friend who also sponsors our show. The sponsorship is that he puts us out in his newsletter. I don't know if you know that guy. Yeah.
Talking about Smitty.
Smitty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I want to thank Jeff Smith. And you've been friends with Jeff for how long now?
I met Jeff when I moved here. We hung around in the group, and we go back.
Yeah. He wouldn't give me any stories.
That's probably a smart move. I won't either.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for doing this.
You bet, John.
Appreciate you, buddy.
And I appreciate you. Everything you've done for me and stepping up. You're a really good guy, and we appreciate everything you do.
Well, no, that's the way it's supposed to be. We all got to give back, and I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, you bet.
We'll be back next week with more Camel Sea Chat. Check out Homes by Jonathan Lee, and please like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. We want to keep getting more followers. And thanks again, Jonathan, for doing this.
You bet. Enjoyed it.
Thanks.